Danganronpa.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and those otherwise in class. My name is Lady2, and welcome back to Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. Fucking headset keeps cutting out. Last time, we had the curious case of Robo-Justice, where, following the disappearance of Alter Ego, several people did not show up to the class in the next morning, to the dining hall in the next morning. So he just tried to fix the headset long. It does not want to be cooperating. Afterwards, we first found Celeste. Sorry, I'll deal with that later. We first found Celeste, who was battered in the rec room. He showed an odd picture of Hifumi being dragged away by some weird entity. One that, when we found Hifumi, was called, or Hifumi dubbed rather, Robo-Justice. Further on, both Taka and Hifumi were found to be dead, quote unquote, but both of their bodies also disappeared before being found. Well, Hifumi's moving from the nurse's room to the repository in the art room, and Taka's also into the repository from the equipment room next to the physics lab. The only person who seemed to not have an alibi was Hiro, the name also given by Hifumi upon his sudden but brief revival after being discovered in the repository room, with the second time that the body discovery announcement was made. Hiro was found locked in a pool locker in the Robo-Justice costume, which has more or less led us here to the trial. Now, at the very least, you guys are getting that sound, though it does occasionally cut out just because of the frantic nature of this bloody headset. I believe it is the cable that's going, but I haven't tried it with another one. So I'm slightly concerned it might actually be the point on it. That's causing the issues. Which I'm hoping that's not the case, because if that's the case, then this thing's barely lasted 2 years, if that. I had sound very briefly and then it just cut out again. This thing is a pain in the ass. One moment. Okay, that seems to have actually done it for now. We'll see how long it lasts. Otherwise I might well try and change cables. I do have a different headset just in case, but it is nowhere near the quality of this one. Anyway, trial prep. So obviously we've got our truth bullets. I'll say the usual blurb. Not that many truth bullets actually. The usual blurb. I've played this game before, so this is just a refresher for me to go into the rest of the series, which I have not played, and I'm more or less blind. Okay. It's slightly cut out again, and now it's kicked back in at the volume it's supposed to. That's a bit better. Famous last words, just cut out again, but didn't change right. So yeah, we've got all of our truth bullets. It's easy enough. We do have skills to add in. Steady aim wouldn't be terrible. That can absolutely be useful, and we've got the space for it, but we actually need this, because this will come into play. Keeping that... Maybe we could drop menacing focus if we really wanted to, because we don't need that much focus, though. It is useful to have. I've got to try and remember the buttons of the trial again now. I think R1's focus. Anyway, we could swap those two around. Now we should be okay. We'll do one more quick save just to override that, to make sure that that's... we don't need to... if anything happens, then we've got all those skills now set. Don't do that. On to the trial.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one...
So just quickly check. Okay, no, that's...
Then I'll punish
I'll need to
everyone
wait.
besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
We already know who did it!
Was that?
For when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it! You killed them!
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Of all people.
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hero, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume were used. And all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know!
Is Hero really the killer? Or... Before anything else, we have to make that clear. Gotta try and find me.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff! It's not true! It's a conspiracy!
Hero, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second!
Okay, so read those first two. Compelling evidence that Hero is the killer. Is that really true? Just gotta... Oh. Shit. Transcript, thank you. To do with the blueprints. The blueprints is definitely a statement. Bullets. So what do we have? We had Hero's message. It's just that. I think it's these three with the bullets. Didn't quite look at them. But I would imagine it's that or that, maybe. Compelling evidence that he was the killer. Is that really true?
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit card.
No, that's wrong.
Are we sure Hero really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hero wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
Sorry, another headset cut out.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
That's probably true.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hero's the culprit?
Oh, mate.
And he is not the only one. I think Hero is innocent as well.
What?
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit?
Oh no, that was
Is
it.
it like Hero said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
Once he passes it off to me.
So, who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
The suspicious individual in question, the one that must have been in his suit, was the Illuminati. No, it was Hiro.
Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could have been.
And hopefully that position holds the headset better.
Obviously, he was any kind of second suit.
Fuck it, let's try a different cable. Hold on. Interesting. The cable works, it's just a different registration. Funnily enough. Well, sort of not, it was just, for some reason, just went higher on the volume. Oh well. We'll see how well this one works. That'll tell me if it's the cable or not. Anyway, back in.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What?
Now that's a bold assumption.
And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around!
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
Volunteers.
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items. Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
The things that were used to move Taka's body, they must have been... Repository
I got it!
There's still one more thing.
I got it!
Wake up.
They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's with the attitude?
So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body, am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway. We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
Except when it comes to trials, Celeste, where people start to rely on Mikado quite a lot. Even the ones that seem to know what's going on. So that's generally about you need more than one person backing you up. Wow, I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean. Maybe I can change her mind. If I can just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to the repository. A new element has been added to bullet-time battles. Would you like to hear more? Sure. Let's talk about reloading. Starting with this next bullet-time battle, we're going to add one more ingredient to the recipe. On the bottom of the screen, underneath the tempo marker, you'll see your ammo count. Up until now, there hasn't really been a limit on how you destroy your opponent's statements. But from now on, just locking on and pressing a Y button won't be enough to handle them. That'll cost you one bullet to destroy a single remark. Once you run out of bullets, you can't destroy any more statements, no matter how locked on you are. However, you can reload by pressing the X button. That'll be square, I believe. For me. Just like locking on, you'll have to press the X button in time with the tempo marker. Basically, just remember that the X button now is function along with the A and Y buttons. Yeah, that will be the square for me. You'll automatically reload at the start of fever time, and your ammo will not decrease. Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, you won't have to reload at all. In which case, you can ignore everything I just said. Good luck and have fun. And this is why we pulled in that skill.
You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Do your worst. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Do your worst. I cannot agree.
This should prove it.
Just making sure there wasn't any other sentence.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here.
As soon as I should be okay with the nega time. I actually should be. It's the It was more I was hitting the wrong button, and then when I had to shift over to the other button, that's what fucked things up.
When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Jeez, does Celeste really hate me that much?
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
You'll find Mikado, she's actually quite fond of you.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer.
Which means that I'm going to be the one to do it. Is that right? You don't speak, Mikado.
If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
If we look at how the body was moved, it'll be clear why the person in the suit couldn't have done it. What does he mean by that? This will be the costume that can't bend the waist, I'm pretty sure. Unless it's Dolly without the handle.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room.
Because it doesn't necessarily like it. Dolly has no handles. Even though there are handles there, but I know it's not what it means. So the t-shirts do this. You cannot see your feet or bend the waist more than 90 degrees.
And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp,
That's right.
then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
That's right.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
Yeah.
Then you could push the dolly no problem.
So the killer just crouched down
No white
and
hands.
carted the body off to the repository.
If you accept everything we just said, then you must realize that whoever was in the suit couldn't possibly be the culprit.
Sorry, I don't think I realize anything.
That's perfectly fine. We weren't worried about you at all. The dolly was used to move Taka's body, that much I'm sure of. But would the person inside the suit have been able to push the dolly?
As we know, and from there.
Yeah, then loaded it on.
Now, keep in mind.
Well, yeah, but even with that, all you'd have to do is bend.
No, that's wrong! You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together, remember?
I'm blind. Ooh, that's definitely not right. I'm blind as a bat in here. Can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised you got anywhere in this thing. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. Not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Depending on the person. So, Not that I'm saying Hero is, but certainly well, a lot of sports that rely on you being able to kick, a decent thing that you're trained in doing is about not looking down when you're trying to make contact. Because you need to be looking up and around at your surroundings. So, could it be done? Sure. Could Hero do it? Probably not.
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
That too.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
We can deal with this. There's absolutely no chance of the costume is taken off just to move the body, because you can't take it off by yourself.
I got it! I don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember...
I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help. Why would you make something that you can't take off by yourself? You didn't make this stupid freaking thing. There's a clasp on the back that's keeping you from getting it off. It looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. We don't really have a choice. Let's help him.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero wasn't just making it up?
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right!
So, it's really, really true that Robo-Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo-Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
How did you get hurt?
That guy hit me.
What guy?
The Justice. That's what I decided to call him. Just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hero, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hold on a second!
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
Yeah.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo-Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo-Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office...
What's wrong?
I saw a shadow. Something moving around at the top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Just a quick moment. I just had to put something away and open the place.
Celeste, what's wrong?
That was a rather intense scream for someone like you.
Saw him. A strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hall and disappeared.
and then...
I definitely can't do it for me scream.
What was that? I came from downstairs. It must have been... Hifumi! He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
At that point, we decided to divide up into two groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the third floor to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time, because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the three of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us, and she told us something very surprising.
Hifumi's body has disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again.
This... What's on my sewers instead? This cannot be happening. Are we hallucinating this, or all this or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository. Which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
So I'd very much argue, if you didn't already know about it, you probably notice it there. Which is... for the most part, it's a lot of direction coming from one character.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
The contradictions hidden in what happened to Taka. In order to uncover the truth of this case, I have to find them, no matter what.
This will probably be like this one.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We are just going to double check. Already down one refresh.
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
This watch is the thing that proves different.
The order that the Justice Hammers were used in to commit the murders. Something about that is bothering me.
So, regarding Taka's death,
I wonder if, or perhaps it was. We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
Okay, so maybe it is the first one.
Oh, Dakota, don't scare me like that. Makes me think something weird is going on.
Shoot!
Listen then. It's using the flashback. Yeah, okay. The wristwatch proves that Taka was killed earlier, but doesn't necessarily deal with that. That's why. The other two is the Monokuma file. Yes, I do his message, which does nothing. So since I'm supposed to file the broken wristwatch at what order, which I don't believe I need to, it's which one of these two am I remembering to file the other.
Think.
So, regarding Taka's death, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed. Taka came last.
Surely it's the numbering of
What
what
makes
order.
you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed,
With justice, while Taka's death,
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka, I wonder if, or perhaps it was after.
We already know what order they were.
No, that's wrong.
Getting ahead of myself.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers.
And then the broken wristwatch comes in to deal with this. That's right.
If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
so you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
Evidence that proves Taka was killed before Hifumi. I feel like there was something. That'll be the wristwatch. How many words that? Oh, sorry, how many words? How many letters? From plenty of T's. And now we want it.
Now I understand. I've got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night,
Hey, you! How long were you gonna keep us waiting?
Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wristwatch.
It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls.
so if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder. But all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
Huh? Oh, what was that? It came from downstairs. It must have been... Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. Oh, this is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko.
Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing. And according to what Celeste said,
We could not have been gone for more than a minute or two, though. So then the killer was able to get in and move Hifumi's body in that short amount of time? It would seem so.
his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well... Wait aside. The nurse's office is... I mean, there's the proportions of the space to deal with, depending on how accurate that is, and you can scale it. The nurse's office isn't that far from the first staircase. It's just the 2 bathrooms in between. And from that staircase to the next staircase, it's just 2 bathrooms again. So the trick's much more the stairwell to the technically the art room. That'll be the main issue. If we didn't already know how it was done.
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What? How?
If the dead body were to move itself.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another... ghost!
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is... we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
The idea that Hifumi was still alive, is it really possible?
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office,
Everybody disappeared until last night. I left the nurse's office to use the bathroom. Apparently they weren't gone for more than a minute or two. No. I've got in my head this will be another flashback then, because I don't think this refutes anything. Nor should the broken wristwatch.
there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery
Was
announcement
actually still alive
along with the
until
rest of
whatever was
us.
going to come.
Hifumi's dead body had been found.
So,
And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
that's the one we need. But the body discovery announcement was only made once. That much I'm sure of.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No, that's wrong! Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if two bodies had been found, there really should have been two announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
For the first
That
time.
didn't answer our question, man. We were asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty.
Because, technically, that also answers how Monokuma handles... Well, why Monokuma handled Hifumi's rebirth and death the way he did. He didn't play the announcement. We found him in the repository. Announcement sounded. Hifumi was revived. Said his piece. Died. And there wasn't a second announcement.
Huh? He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
Second body discovery announcement. The first time it played
was when we found each body in the nurse's office and the equipment room. And the second time was when both bodies were rediscovered.
I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the two bodies.
Dum, 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 dum. A body has been discovered. After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you like, the class trial will begin.
It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
Then in reality, when the two dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know!
Oh?
Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
Partly.
That is the worst logic I have ever heard.
Oh no, you've definitely heard worse from Hero. Probably from Hifumi as well.
But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
There has to be proof that Hifumi was still alive. I have to find it and show it to everyone.
That should be the glasses. Cloth. Oh no, just his glasses.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office.
This one double check that. When they were first found in the nurse's office, Hifumi's glasses were covered in blood. However, when they're next seen in the repository, they were completely clear.
And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And
That's
the
fine.
next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned,
That's fine.
there was no notable difference.
That's the problem.
Then, was he really still alive?
Of course not. It is impossible. This is ridiculous.
You may have briefly heard, and with some of this crackling as well, the achievement go off. That was destroy 100 lines of white noise.
The reason I can say Hifumi was still alive, if I can just find the contradiction in these statements, I'm sure it'll become clear.
Well, here's one thing we do. The first time we found him, and then his body disappeared.
And the next
Time we saw it was in.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
No, that's wrong! In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository.
I'm going to go make myself coffee now. Then we'll come back and we'll continue on. I'll be back. And go.
His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
The evidence I found in the trash can in the nurse's office was the glasses cleaning cloth.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... what exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Then it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere!
Well, if you're intentionally playing dead. The only other thing that could technically point away from it would be he did get attacked, but so he did get attacked, was knocked unconscious. There would still be question marks over it, but it's something that would hold up, depending on how things operate. Having in mind, a lot of like even small nicks on your head will just piss blood.
But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done! God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
The one who moved Taka's body was Taka himself.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked?
Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? so me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means, when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
I think that if me stole from Taka.
I got it! You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
I found a hole. Maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 AM.
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 AM.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been...
Hifumi's pants.
I got it! That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right?
Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary. But still, I can't let her get to me. This'll be a scrap. Or not.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 AM, I believe.
Let's watch.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Missed the shot. Went into the white, not into the yellow. The time mentioned in the note, I feel like that's the key.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said.
What time did it say? 6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, that's wrong! No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered.
What you talking about, Big Mac?
We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that...
No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they'd found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
And proof that Hifumi stole the note from Taka.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
As if you guys didn't do that test beforehand.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note...
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive!
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
Oh, there was at least one third of Hero's statement that was true, though.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository, so he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
Considering the way genocide's been going after Hina, I assume that's in terms of sickness than anything else.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi!
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Depends on how hard you swing it. And where.
Then,
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The weapon that was actually used to kill Hifumi. The whole picture surrounding this case won't become clear until we figure that out. Somehow, I have to find the truth.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers!
It's the one that just
And,
went through this last one.
that's about it.
Whoa, you bastard.
If the weapon used to kill Hifumi really was similar to the weapon used to kill Taka,
What was
Used to kill. Was it Justice? Maybe Justice.
well, there's one. How was the culprit? How did nobody...
Sounds like a Justice. Check out murdergear.com.
Well, what? The murder weapon had to be...
No, that's wrong. The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones,
Some as
and
big as your
even
hand.
some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
we did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least, that's what we thought at first. Alright.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, Even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Is the possibility of an accomplice really that insane? Or is there some chance?
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply
No, that's wrong! Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
Just a moment. And we're back again.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in the scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. they would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
Almost seems.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice.
It's not really a rule that you can't have an accomplice, it's just that there's no benefit for the accomplice.
Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful! How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
The effort made to convince us the two murders were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning. Which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing. Although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now!
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions and, in the end, murdered him. In the debates up till now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all of that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. Because they're the person we've refuted just about every time, and the person who keeps bringing up every contradiction. Sort of trying to redirect narrative. So, mademoiselle?
Here's my answer! It was Celeste.
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him...
Which you have done. Maybe not the way you particularly want, but you have done it.
That I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
It's always a good breakdown.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you.
The only two that supposedly interacted with Robo Justice until the locker. Also the two that screamed. And there's technically one of them. Well, the only two that attacked and were... No, who were attacked and survived. At least for Fumi, to a point.
Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
What is it that only Hifumi and Celeste had in common?
I got it!
I mean, the screaming is
The
also
behavior they
true.
had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Sorry.
You don't need to apologize for that, Mikado.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw a shadow and something moving around at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Huh? What was that? It came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
It was indeed. Then why didn't we split up into two groups? Only the hunting party. That seems much more interesting. Very well. Then Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I'm not sure about that.
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered.
And specifically, before the body discovery announcement.
You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything. The whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Because ideally,
none of you would have been remaining in there. But because Cena couldn't, well, he was in shock, rather, that messed things up a little.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die just like those guys died.
Slightly inferring stuff here, but that could also be just a slight jarring from translation. In terms of if the Japanese is specifically, or isn't the Japanese terms used are specifically for plurals, whereas this one isn't quite. But could also be used for all the previous victims as well.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Because at that point, she shouldn't have known about Taka dying.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed, so Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Byakuya said that Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. But what is he alluding to?
All I said was...
So it's against to do with the... Yeah. So I would imagine this would be a flashback. Unless it's that. Yes.
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us. They must be positively elated. We are...
That would be that weird. I just had somebody come in. That's slightly unfortunate timing of that as well, because that means that something's going to be sent out as well. Just give me a moment. Sorry about all that.
We're all going to die here.
We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Just double check just to make sure, because I'm pretty sure that we're following it at those guys, because that's the problem. Just making sure. So it's that, unless it's a Monokuma file that we've got.
When Celeste said what she did, she shouldn't have known yet. With that in mind, what's so strange about what she said is...
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like...
No, that's wrong.
I do appreciate the inflection that she put into it.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died.
On one hand, theatrically brilliant. On the other hand, that proves she can just switch it on and off.
When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Especially that's exactly how she was supposed to say it when she first said it there.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations?
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right?
Yep.
So let's put the suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
Plus, it is a picture of Hifumi who is being stated to be being a murderer. And not just a murderer, which is something that Celeste isn't pushing that hard against, but also the one that is being alleged to be working with the person who took the picture.
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Other explanation? If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is Hifumi's dragging the suspect away.
I got it!
Because of course they would have been
It's not a
drinking.
picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Celeste thinks she can prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away. But is that really possible? Flashback again, maybe? Ah, the costume. Maybe.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Bang.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
No, that's definitely not right. There's definitely a contradiction in what Celeste is trying to claim.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
No, that's wrong. No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
You totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Here it comes.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate? Celeste? Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Hey, Hifumi, who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Killed me? That's right. I remember their name. Yasu. Hiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
Which should raise its own question, to be fair.
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
That's quite the threat.
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
And slightly ironic.
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
You said people's last names.
I got it! That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No, there's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say?
That's precisely the point, Makoto. She never told any of us her name. Not while we've been in this situation.
To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you? Well? Do I? What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste still won't give up. So then... I have to do something to make her accept it. The handbook.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
That's a bit rude.
If there's one person here who might have that last name...
That's the main thing for this city.
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you? My name is... Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me, that's the only truth there is! Moron!
Technically, can we really be sure that everyone else has said their real name? There's obviously this logic, but that same logic then gets applied to everyone else. We, beyond the people who are already dead, have not seen, and technically for Chihiro and Mondo, we have not seen what comes up with anyone else's handbooks except for our own. Now, we could probably imply that Leon's has said the same. Oh, sorry, I take that back. We've seen our own, or Makoto's seen his, has seen Sayaka's, and the implication we can get from Mondo's is that Leon's said the same thing. Though he may have just thought, well, it doesn't mean anything to bring up. Can we really say that nobody else has given a different name? Well, beyond the obvious one. Isn't there any way to make her face the truth?
Hifumi was trying to tell us. He wanted us to know the killer's last name. Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste.
You haven't told
how many times name?
Celestia Woodenberg!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me,
No, that's wrong. That's it. The handbook.
what?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
This handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you start it up, it'll display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, this is not your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything.
But technically the other way to do it is, if she refuses, you get everyone to show their handbooks. But, yeah.
That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Which technically still doesn't prove that her last name's Yasuhiro, but you prove that nobody else has it.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up.
Which is not a helpful statement. In the slightest.
Because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes. And that'll bring everything to an end.
Let's see. Talking together. What's that? Let's see. I'd imagine that. I think it's that. Let's double check all of these. Yep, that should be fine. I think. Unless... yeah. Yeah, nothing else a hero. Dressed up. Surely. Yeah, there's nothing else there. Actually, just to double check. Oh, it's just, yeah, I think it is that, because nothing else really fits. Just want to double check that. Yeah, because that's that. And there's been nothing else brought up. Then at this time... Bound, bludgeoned, it's definitely not that. Tonk. Yeah. Just making sure. He's there with Justice Hammer 2, I would imagine that'll be. Yeah. Across, spin around, that's used up now. Justice Hammer 3. Yeah, that'll have to be that. Wrapped up. Surely. That's a previous trial, That's that there. I think it'll be that. Because that's used up, that's used. That, I think, is used. That's not applied, that's used, that's not applied. That's not applied, that's definitely not applied. So that should be fine.
The killer is you! Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was...
That's not a great clue.
Hifumi.
An awful one.
With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan.
Those birds are loud, aren't they?
They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room.
Worth noting that throughout the scenes, when we were going through the investigation, there was no clear blood on any of the Justice Hammers. But they're here now, which is what they should be.
The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims, to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1, and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds. That the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But while we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3
Magical girl
and turned the
Hifumi.
room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office. And once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is... Celeste! Sorry, you lose.
I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no, Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taiko?
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
A's across the board.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote. Okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
It's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. Blackened this time. The true killer who devised the whole stinking scheme was... Celestia Lindbergh! More precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro!
Honestly,
I lost. Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Fumi's ineptitude was beyond all my calculations. Pretty much all of the fucking slip-ups in this trial were down to Hifumi. One slip on Celeste's part is arguably the guy's. The one proper slip-up. Everything else she does throughout it, at least it's seen during the moment, is pretty conceivable. So I think this trial gets treated a bit harsher than it should. The mystery side of things, sure, it's an easy fix, but well, I said it's an easy fix. It's an easier solution, but it's an easier solution purely because of the pacing. The entire argument throughout of it is that this is a very chaotic, hectic, rapid sequence of events. So, in a situation where you are dealing with a novel-based style, text-based game, the pacing gets harmed by it. It is one of the things when you go through story writing, it's one of the things that you need to handle, is about how can you pace your writing, not just throughout its entirety, but also specific settings. How to make the language and the scenario, particularly when it comes to stuff like action scenes, hence why I'm bringing it up, to fit with this, to fit with how this scene itself should be paced. And the problem is, this doesn't quite do it justice.
I knew it.
So you really approached Hifumi with this plan? But how did you get him to agree? I can't imagine he would have happily agreed to commit murder. I'm sure she relied on her specialty. Lying. My specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to agree.
So then...
Then did you use... you know... You'd figure it out, Kyoko. You're absolutely right. To get Hifumi to act as my accomplice.
indeed.
I used... her. For everyone who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning it by name, but... it was the one thing Hifumi and Taka were both super into. Does she mean... is she talking about alter ego?
Say what?
What? What? What are you talking about?
Just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here.
I'm totally out of the loop, as usual. Sad.
In other words,
Then you're the one who stole it?
Indeed.
That's right.
I see.
And you used it to drag Hifumi into the plan you'd come up with. Right again. Last night after we had our meeting about how it disappeared, I paid Hifumi a little visit.
Oh, what are you doing here?
Actually,
But I was hoping I could talk to you. Alone. It is about what was stolen. I know who did it.
what? Are you okay with this?
It was Taka. He stole it.
What?
So then,
And I have proof. Would you like to see it? As it turned out, I'd found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier and took pictures of it there. I deleted the picture as soon as I'd shown it to Hifumi, of course.
Damnation!
So it was him. But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her. You are correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it.
Say what?
As for me,
Please forgive me. He threatened me.
Oh,
He did.
as for me,
He came to my room last night unannounced. And then... It's hard for me to even say. He abused me.
what?
So, I didn't have to lie. Obviously, this is a line that sits sour.
And he took pictures. He said if I did not do as he asked, he would show them to everyone. So I had no choice.
Damnation!
That's a crime, an absolute crime. I knew he was gone a little crazy, but
Say what?
I never imagined he would go that far. Oh, it was amazing how completely he bought it. I can't express how enjoyable that was.
So it's probably difficult still to say how much of this is actually true. Because we're dealing with the one person who can absolutely lie through their teeth and get away with it. Taken at face value, absolutely it's horrible. What's the truth? Who knows? Who knows indeed? It probably is because she is being open, but who knows?
I'm about to say something I've never said before in my life.
Completely unforgivable!
I'm going to kill him. I'm going to fucking kill him!
most unfortunate.
Wait, please. If you go now, you'll be playing right into his hands.
Hmm?
Eh?
Actually,
Taka is planning to use her to escape. And he has made you his target.
What?
Escape? You don't mean. Taka is going to try to kill you.
indeed.
And also he can keep her to himself.
This is unforgivable!
That bastard!
Completely unforgivable!
Bastard!
Honestly,
Can we allow him to continue with these barbaric acts? Absolutely not. How could I? She...
I swear I will save her!
actually,
Then, would you like to join with me? It just so happens I have come up with a plan. I have devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape this dreadful school. And with that, it is complete.
Hmm?
Eh? What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Hifumi agreed without a second thought. The effect that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love.
Even a love as twisted as that can still drive people mad, it would seem. You disgust me.
I see.
I have another question for you. Was that strange costume Hifumi's creation?
Indeed.
Yeah, it was a real pain in the butt too. All I asked him to do was make something to hide the face and general body size. I had no idea he'd make something like that. Well, it's my fault for picking him in the first place. I mean, to be fair, he's probably the only one who would have gone along with it. Taka probably not. Maybe Hiro would have. But Hifumi probably still performed better than Hiro would have.
But...
So, why'd you decide to make me the suspect? Because you're stupid. That's it.
Let's see.
And in that regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my every expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents, though. I feel like I could cry.
Well,
But when you were explaining your plan to Hifumi, how did you explain the part about him playing dead? What she's asking is, what was Hifumi supposed to do after that? Assuming you had actually let him live.
Are you okay with this?
That's simple. After he did his part and pretended to be dead, once someone showed up, I told him to say he'd been seriously wounded, he was on the verge of death, but he just barely held on.
And you really believed that?
Of course. It wasn't all there was to it. As I explained to Hifumi, the plan was, while you were all questioning him about what had happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Hifumi would have an alibi, so nobody could doubt him. I told him that and he believed it. Which also means Hifumi was... well, supposing that is true, which it seems like it is, that would imply that Hifumi was completely fine with sacrificing everyone else as well, at this point. It all seems very straightforward and stereotypical. And I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Hifumi ate it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly, right up until the moment of his death.
so in the end,
So you had planned to kill him all along? But of course. There would have been no point to my plan if the one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself.
What the heck?
How can human life mean so little to you?
Well,
That's a non-issue. I simply did everything in my power to win.
Don't be mean!
Now you sound like Byakuya.
I wonder about that.
No, he derives his pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we are nothing alike.
Why?
Then what made you take things this far?
What the heck?
Was it really just for money?
Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? It is a lot of money, it's true. But that's not all there is to it. From the moment our new life here began, my only thought has been escape.
But...
All along, you've been saying how we have to accept living here.
You little bitch!
Obviously that was a lie.
Hey!
I couldn't take it. I hated it from day one. More than anyone else in here.
You little bitch!
I wanted to get out. Every day was fresh torture. And you want to know why? Huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream. And accepting a life here would have meant nothing less than giving up on my dream forever.
Honestly.
And there was no way that I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphorical killing.
As for me,
And it was all for that dream. And what was this dream of yours?
Isn't it wonderful?
To live in a European castle. A castle? And to gather handsome men from all over the world to serve as my butlers / bodyguards. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Once I obtained that, I would have created a perfectly aesthetic world of decadence.
This is fine.
Living the rest of my life there was my only dream. My only goal. And that's what life is all about. Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. I got right to the edge, but
There is nothing to be done.
unfortunately my dream has been scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream till the very end, so why would I?
Just the worst.
You sound so passionate, but you were really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh,
Are you asking me to feel guilty? That's a pointless endeavour. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own ends. I feel nothing.
do you understand?
That's all there is to me. It's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's what we should be saying. And plus, how can you be so calm? Don't you realise you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability to lie is unrivaled, and I take pride in that. It's not just other people. I can even fool my own emotions. The conscious deceives the unconscious. And that's why you're not scared.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's right. I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. But you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice, then
Isn't it wonderful?
I think I would like to come back as Marie Antoinette.
Hey,
You'd just get executed again.
Celeste smiled, then, and when she did, it looked to me like a poor effort to force it. She claimed she could fool her own emotions, but that statement itself must have been her final lie. And that weak, fake smile is what betrayed her.
Thrills, chills, kills!
You all done? Okay then, let's get rolling! The blackened disturbed the peace and must pay the price.
Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment!
But, the ultimate gambler!
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this.
What?
This is...
Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why... Actually, it's not important. Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again, in another life.
Game over. Celeste has been found guilty. Time for the punishment. The burning of the Versailles Witch. Burn, baby, burn.
Here comes the cavalry.
Got it all, Monokuma. Good job. Obviously, that one final glimpse and hope for decadence for specialty before snuffing it out with a rather common death. It's over. The third execution is over. And with that, I'm going to briefly head to the loop, just so I can... more sunbursting. And then I'll come back and we'll finish off the chapter, because there's still a little bit to go. I won't be long. Back, just grabbed a beer as well. dinner's being cooked, so I might need to jump up and grab that before the chapter's done. I don't know how long it'll take. More of this. Get through as much as I can. Try and wrap it up before we have to grab, but who knows. Celeste's death is over. Celeste killed my friends, so I can't pity her. But I also can't deny that at one point I considered her a friend too. Which technically makes it seem like he doesn't pity Leon and Wanda. Technically shouldn't pity Sayaka either, because Sayaka intended to. Plus he also then shouldn't pity Hifumi, because Hifumi did kill. The difference would be, the main difference would be, Hifumi manipulated, like specifically manipulated, Mondo and Leon mostly heat of the moment. Sayaka manipulated, Celeste is very calculated in comparison.
And for him to just come along and... Isn't it just awful? Someone couldn't cut free of their regrets from the outside world, and some people had to die.
Extreme!
You guys are still young. You need to place more value on your lives.
What are you gonna do?
Jeez. And here I thought you guys were gonna pass the torch of hope to the next generation.
Let me out of here!
Oh, I care about hope. I'll throw it all in the trash if you just let me out of here.
Too bad.
All the embodiment of hope, whether you like it or not. And it's my destiny to knock you down one by one. It's sad. Yes, it is. That reality just can't be ignored.
Don't talk like you're not responsible.
You're gonna make us keep going through this. What do you want from us?
How strange.
God, I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest already. So, anyway. Kyoko, did I see you get some kind of key-type object from Celeste?
Hey! Hey!
What's the deal with that?
What?
What's the matter?
So then,
I'll answer your question if you answer mine.
you...
What did you do? What did you do to me?
Ooh.
What?
Hey,
Answer me. What did you do to my body?
Ooh. How exciting.
Oh, man, oh, jeez. Oh, man, oh, jeez. What do you mean? What did I do? I have no idea. I don't know anything about it.
What was that just now? The mastermind did something to Kyoko's body? What does that mean?
Hello.
Okay, things are getting kinda awkward. I think it's about time I got out of here. Well, you guys can go on enjoying your school life. If you get lonely, give me a shout. Not that I'll do anything about it, of course.
See ya later.
Ooh. See ya!
Monokuma disappeared, leaving us all depressed and in despair. Although, it wasn't all despair. There was one small hope. Hey, Kyoko, Monokuma already mentioned it, but what's that key that Celeste gave you?
so...
Most likely, it's the key to one of the dressing room lockers.
What? Then that means...
Let's probably hid it in there.
Hey,
I suppose it's easy. Sometimes it's easiest to miss what's right beneath your nose. Well, then we'd better go check.
Indeed.
Good idea. We left the courtroom and rushed to the dressing room. As we approached the dressing room, Yoko looked back at us and said,
Hey,
I'm going to go alone from here. Everyone else head to the dining hall. I'll check in with you later.
What?
Why exactly are you going alone?
so...
I have to ask. She spoke, she glanced quickly at the surveillance camera.
Come on.
That's not what I mean. Why you? There's still the risk of a spy, you know. Then I'll go too.
What?
You? Please, let me go. Standing here arguing is just gonna draw more attention to us.
Goodbye.
Do whatever you want. Thank you, Byakuya.
well then.
Then it's up to you now.
Yo!
I'm gonna go to the dining hall. Wanna watch the time there, hero?
So, Kuro and Kyoko, we're gonna go together? What exactly are you thinking? Does this mean what I think it means?
Okay.
What, Photo? Feels like you're a total pushovers when you show a little backbone.
I try to forget what Hina said. Everyone headed to the dining hall, leaving me and Kyoko there alone.
Shall we go?
Well, shall we? Yeah.
So then...
We need to get into that locker. Kyoko took the key Celeste had given her and unlocked the locker. And as the locker swung open, we saw...
You really came.
Good morning. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It's safe. Thank goodness. I'd never heard Kyoko sound so relieved. It was like she was speaking from the bottom of her heart. I did just what Celeste asked. I didn't say a word. I stayed quiet the entire time.
So,
Oh, and I think I might be able to open the last set of files soon. Maybe as early as tomorrow. I'm doing my best, so please wait just a little longer. So, we can officially say the case is closed. As far as this incident is concerned, sure, but... Can we take a second? Since we have this opportunity, I want you to be honest with me. Kyoko, please tell me, what are you trying to do all on your own here at the school?
You...
Is that why you wanted to come in here with me?
However...
Regardless, that's not something you need to know right now. I don't need to know. That just makes me even more worried.
What?
Worried? Like what happened during the investigation this time? You disappeared and we didn't see you again. Without warning, without explanation. When you do that...
Indeed.
It's only natural that they think I'm the mastermind spy, right? And you too. No! I believe in you.
What?
You believe in me? Isn't it obvious? And people believe in their friends, right? That's why I want you to tell me. And I want you to believe in me too. Because we're friends. I understand.
It's true.
Then maybe I can believe in you. Just a little bit more. Then...
That's fine.
Fine, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I've been disappearing and where I've been going. You see...
What I heard from Kyoko then was, well, frankly, it kind of blew my mind. Right after I told Kyoko I believe in her, she told me a story that was, well, almost unbelievable. I decided I had to confirm what she told me with my own 2 eyes, so I waited for nighttime to come. And when it did, I went into action.
Correct.
The boys' bathroom on the 2nd floor doesn't have a surveillance camera or monitor in it. And in the storage closet there, way in the back, she said it was way in the back of the boys' bathroom storage closet, but could Kyoko really be right about this? This is the girls' bathroom, obviously I can't go in. It's right in the back of the boys' bathroom. It's just a normal storage closet as far as I can tell. The secret Kyoko told me about, could it really be hidden here? She said it was way in the back of the storage closet. But I mean, seriously? Without thinking, I placed my hand on the back of the storage closet, and suddenly, as if I was being yanked in, at the same time as I heard that sound, I fell through the wall. I had no idea what was going on. I had fallen through the back of the storage closet. Huh? It turned out, the back wall was like a revolving door, and I'd made my way to the other side. Just like Kyoko had said.
Correct.
In the boys' bathroom on the 2nd floor, there's a storage closet. And way in the back of that closet, there's a secret room. So this is the secret room. But what's in here? Just those 2 things. Yep. Okie dokie. It's just a normal desk with normal drawers. There's a bunch of files and what looked like volume after volume of yearbooks. They're all covered in dust. Looking at everything, one file at the edge of the bookshelf caught my eye. Grape's Peak Academy Student Registry? And this is the only thing in here not covered in dust. Has someone been looking at it recently? I slipped the file into my hand, but before I had a chance to take a look at it, a slip of paper fell out of the file and I turned my attention to it. What's this? You must not leave. That's kind of weird. Now, technically, is that in Hiro's handwriting? I could understand if it said, like, I can't leave, but you must not leave? What is this? My head feels funny. This strange sensation. It's like deja vu. Those words. You must not leave. I've seen them somewhere before. But I can't quite remember. What do I know? What don't I know? I... A strange sound rang out through my head. It felt like it was shaking my brain back and forth. And then... darkness. I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what started it. It's all over. And with that, I opened my eyes. I didn't know how long it had been. Apparently something hit me and I lost consciousness. That's all I understood. The dull, throbbing pain in the back of my head proved that much, at least. An empty bookshelf. Huh? Empty? Gone. It's all gone. The yearbooks, the student registry, and even the note that had fallen on the floor. It's all gone. What does this mean? My brain refused to do any more work. The insistent pain in my head began to spread across the rest of my body. But now, I should go back to my room. Get some rest. My body was heavy with pain, my mind heavy with thought. I dragged myself back toward my room. Somehow I made it back to the first floor of the school. The farther I walked, the more I felt things are getting blurry. Can't see in front of me. I couldn't stop myself from collapsing right there. And after that... As if from a vast distance, I heard a sound. It was faint, but undeniable. That sound... coming from the gym? As I desperately hauled my shaky frame toward the gym, the sound got stronger and stronger. What's going on? It can't be nothing. Here in the gym? I didn't make a sound as I opened the door to the gym. The sounds coming from inside, meanwhile, only intensified that much more. Before me there raged a battle beyond anything humanly possible. No, one side's not human, that's for sure. But regardless, I couldn't stop myself staring. I forgot to move, or even breathe.
Why, you? What do you think you're doing? I asked you a question. What's the meaning of this? How dare you defy me? This wasn't part of the deal!
The deal?
I've made a decision. I will no longer retreat, no longer compromise, no longer regret. I've made my decision. I'm going to resist you.
Okay.
Doesn't make a difference to me.
But You do realize what will happen if you go through with this, right? You haven't forgotten, have you? What I'm holding hostage?
What am I looking at? What am I hearing? Hostage? Then could it be? Mastermind spy is... Next generation legend, stand tall, galactic hero. The end. Down under half now. To be continued. You received a super Robo Justice present. Raise a crowd. Oh, let us see. And that's gonna be where we'll end things for today. After we do another save just to make sure. Danganronpa. So, I think that'll be where we end it. We've gotten through the third trial. The case of the double murder. As I said, like, it is a smart plan, and it's a rather well thought out case. It's really hindered by the pacing of it. That's honestly the biggest issue. From a story perspective, or from a storytelling perspective anyway. You can say what you want about the themes. Beyond all that, it does handle a few things. And it makes it sort of a query about, especially with how Hifumi died and the way that the way the body discovery announcement works. Let's say someone, hypothetically speaking, has a heart attack and dies, gets revived. Let's go through your CPR and all that. They get revived. If they were then to die later down the line, if a body discovery announcement played the first time, would a body discovery announcement play the second time? Because his attitude is, well, the first time you find a dead body, that's the only time that the body discovery announcement gets played. But, and like for Hifumi, at the very least, you could say it didn't make a huge amount of difference. It was he basically only got revived for like another minute or two, and then was dead, and unrefutably dead. If somebody could survive longer, how would Monokuma rule it? And obviously the interesting part, well, not the interesting part, but the part that very much connects to the larger stuff, which hooks up quite nicely to the Hifumi part actually, is that nobody bothered to ask how Hifumi knew her name. How Hifumi knew that Celeste was Taiko Yasuhiro. That flies completely under the radar for everyone there. It's more proving she is, not, wait, how did he know that? And it's probably the one thing Celeste could have... Sorry. It's probably the one thing Celeste could have hinged everything on. Like her last proper defense. Why, look, if that is my name,
in the hypothetical scenario that that is absolutely my name, which it is not, it is Celestia Ludenberg, goddammit, why would I tell him that? How could he possibly know? But, meh. Anyway, so, obviously the next time we come into Danganronpa, we'll be starting up Chapter 4. And well, we almost certainly won't make, well, I wouldn't say we almost certainly won't. We probably won't make the investigation. But the tone does start to shift just a bit more. So anyway, yeah, that'll be where we end things for today. Thanks for tuning in live if you did, or if you're watching on playback, thanks for watching. As always, I've been Fongalegi, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. If you want to find me elsewhere, the links are in the description below, or feel free to check out the rest of the channel. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye guys.